I want to welcome everyone here to the Back to School Safety Press Conference. We are glad to welcome back our students, faculty, and staff for the 2020-2021 school year. I want to thank all of those who worked countless hours on the reopening task force and those who worked behind the scenes as well. We recognize and respect that parents and students had tough educational choices to make, and we will continue to work hard to support them. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Griffin.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to give a few updates, and thank you, Chair Ahman, for the opportunity. As Ms. Ahman said, our families had some difficult decisions to make, as well as our teachers. We offered a face-to-face opportunity, as well as 3 different remote opportunities. And I'll give you some numbers right now. 44% of our families chose for their students to return face-to-face to school on Monday, and about 56% chose one of the 3 remote options, either Seminole Connect, Seminole County Virtual School, or a hybrid option where they could do a little face-to-face and a little bit of one of the remote options. I have to remind everybody, this is a very, very different time for our schools, for our community, and that it's going to be a more challenging start than we ever have had before. Our schedules are more complex. Ask everybody for their patience as we get things rolling this school year. Our schools will continue to work throughout the weekend to get everything in shape and ready to roll for our first day on Monday. I want to remind everybody that we have put a lot of safety protocols in place for our valued employees and for our students. Number one, enhanced protocols throughout the campuses. You'll see the campus here today, Pinecrest, that you're visiting, things clearly marked. You'll see that we have social distancing in place throughout the buildings where possible. The most important is that we're requiring masks of all employees and of all students when they cannot maintain social distancing. We already have in place 25,000 desk shields. They are so popular, we've ordered an additional 15,000. 4 markers are throughout the campuses. Probably the second most important thing to mask is hand cleaning. We're going to be reminding everybody the importance of soap and water for 20 seconds or hand sanitizer, not to touch your face, students and employees not to touch their mask, but to keep those masks on and to keep your hands clean and away from your face. One of the newest things that we've ordered that I got to see work, which is, I think, really, really good for us, we've ordered misters for each school. We like them so much, we've ordered additional ones, and that will give our hardworking custodial staff the opportunity to go through the buildings each evening and mist every classroom that is being used by students in its entirety. We've also ordered face shields. I know the face shields are not as good as the face mask, but we do have some students who need accommodations. We have some teachers who'll be wearing a mask and a face shield if they're working with a special needs student or a student that needs accommodations. So just a reminder, number one, everybody will be wearing masks. Very, very important. Every medical expert that we have worked with has clearly told us that masks are vitally important to stopping the spread of the respiratory droplets. Hand cleaning right behind that, social distancing, and certainly the deep cleaning of our campuses. So with all of the safety precautions in place and things going on, all the changes because of COVID, we have not let down our guard for school safety. And I have been asked on many interviews the past few months, is Seminole County going to consider removing the SROs from the schools? And the answer is not on my watch. The SROs play a vital part of our school community. I think sometimes people think the SROs are there just for school safety. That is one very important part. But most important to me are the great relationships that they build with our students, with our families from a young age, and the support they give to our employees as well as our families. So our school resource program is in place. It will remain in place. The safety of every student and every employee is vital. And I think sometimes because of what we're going through with COVID, that people think we aren't thinking about school safety. I can assure you our team has been working harder than ever to make sure that every safety protocol is in place. And with that comes a great relationship with our sheriff and our sheriff's department. I can tell you, I have an instant line to Sheriff Lima anytime that I need him. He is a huge support to every one of our schools, to all 67,000 students and to 8,000 employees. He's a good friend and truly a supporter for the right reasons for Seminole County Public Schools. We would not have the safety program in place that we have if it was not for Sheriff Lima and his leadership. So at this time, it's my honor to call up Sheriff Lima. I want to thank all the local police agencies as he's walking up here because they work very, very closely with all of us. And I want to thank Sheriff Lima publicly for his work. Sheriff?
Thank you so much, Superintendent, for being such a strong ambassador of public safety and awareness, and the men and women who are actually charged with providing safe and secure school campuses, and a whole lot more than that. Actually, our deputies are so excited about getting back to school and reconnecting with the students that they've learned to know and love over the past few years. And clearly, this year looks a little bit different with the various options that are provided from the superintendent. But that in no way changes our overall global mission. It's to ensure that we have safe campuses, to ensure that we are fostering a positive working relationship, not only between law enforcement officers and the students, but the faculty and staff and the students' families as well. We understand that over the past several months, many people who have been sheltering in place may not have had the exposure to people on the outside that they normally would have had when school is in session. And there are a lot of things that we look at beyond the normal traditional aspect of providing school safety, like abuse, neglect, and abandonment is a big part of what the Sheriff's Office mission is. Knowing that we're one of 7 counties in the entire state that provide that services, it is crucial that the kids that are coming back on campus have those people that they can turn to, particularly school teachers, to make sure that they are, again, communicating, talking about their needs and desires, whether they're educational based or other public safety or public health. So that's one of the things that's going to be going on. We want to provide the same services that we provide those individuals who are on campus to those who are off campus. And we've got such a wonderful working relationship with school social workers. And when there's a need for a school social worker to go out and make contact with a student or a student's family, we're always able to do that and really appreciate the partnerships, not only with the Seminole County Sheriff's Office, but all 7 municipalities that provide similar services throughout the county. We would be remiss if we did not talk about this very, very unique relationship that we have here in Seminole County under the leadership of Captain Rick Francis, who is actually embedded in the superintendent's office. As far as I know, it's one of a kind. It does not occur anywhere in the state, and we've been doing it here since 2016. A captain at the Sheriff's Office, under the leadership of Superintendent Walt Griffin, provides oversight for all school safety and security, and that provides this very, very unique relationship. Almost immediately after Captain Francis came in, he entered into an agreement to provide a gold standard of technology on school campuses, and that was the Rave Panic app. And that provides immediate access through a mutual link to connect law enforcement and first responding personnel directly to the school campuses. And again, it has been a huge success in here. Actually, it won the 2017 Innovation Award, and we are very, very lucky to have a district that embraces technology and a new philosophy. We also ensured that every single public school campus had a dedicated, professionally trained law enforcement officer on the campus. When other jurisdictions were having to resort to other options to provide school safety and security, there was a dedicated school resource officer or deputy on every single public school campus in Seminole County years before the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas mandate was in effect. And again, that talks about the foresight and the collaboration and teamwork that we have here in Seminole County. So The deputies and police officers are excited to get back, but it just doesn't end there. For those locations that are going to be providing meal services, we will have deputies that are available at that location as well to provide whatever assistance and service extending well beyond security. Again, mentorship, philosophy, and all of these things that go along with it. We also have an award-winning dedicated school crossing guard program that is a big part of our overall strategy when it comes to providing safety. These are quite literally hundreds of people who are working part-time that have a passion to make sure that they connect with the kids and cross the kids in a very, very safe manner. They also engage in conversations about bike safety and a whole variety of other things that they do out there day in and day out. Message to parents, just like at the beginning of every school year, we encourage you to have a conversation with your children. Make sure that they know the hazards of vaping and sexting and texting. Make sure you have a conversation with them about the seriousness of school threats. And please, please be patient with us as we work through these ever-changing dynamics when it comes to our state and our country and our school district. Many people will be new to the campus that they're driving to, which sometimes leads to traffic problems and concerns. Please put your cell phone down. Don't start texting and driving, and be really, really mindful about those school buses out that you haven't seen them in quite some time. But when those school buses are out and that stop sign comes out on the side of the bus, please be mindful that kids are back out there, greater pedestrian traffic, and we want to make sure that we can get back in a safe and effective way. And again, to close, we're so excited about getting back and seeing our kids and providing whatever services that are necessary. We want to encourage those parents to connect with the school resource officer or deputy of the various campus, even if you are choosing one of the three options to go more remotely. We're here to provide whatever service that we can, and we're more than happy to do that. So thank you for the collaboration, Superintendent. We've got a wonderful group of school board members, and I just want to take a moment to really thank our teachers out there. I think if there was ever a need to have a greater appreciation for our school teachers, it's now. I've worked with my children, my wife, as a Seminole County resident, and tried to work them through the process of adjusting. And the school staff and teachers have been just absolutely unbelievable in the process. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that want to thank them for what they do and why they do it. So thank you so much for having me here.
If anyone has questions as well, you want to talk about this start of the school year, Superintendent is more than willing to help answer that, and any other questions that we might have.
From a COVID-19 mask wearing and all of that, I mean, 6 months ago, people run around downtown wearing a mask, they might be suspicious, and if they're coming on a school campus, it might be suspicious. So now masks are the norm. How is that going to be handled from a school security point of view?
Fortunately, our school personnel know our students. Even though their mouths and noses will be covered, they will know if somebody's on campus who should not be there. We still have all our check-in protocols, all our check-in procedures. Anybody who is visiting campus, we still have the exact same safety protocols in place.
Do you know how many students are going to be face-to-face coming to school this Monday, more or less approximately?
Yes, 44% of our 67,000.
And how many schools?
60 schools.
Are you guys ready for Monday, I guess is the question. Are you ready?
We will be ready. We still have a lot to do. I'm a longtime principal, and I can tell you that the few days before the first day of school, there are always a lot of last-minute scheduling. The first and second day, sometimes students only have 6 of their 7 classes, and we have to fill those gaps. But our teams have been working for several weeks, working with our teachers, our administrators to get these schedules in the best shape possible. I think everybody has to understand this is not a normal scheduling year because we've offered so many options. We have teachers who are working remotely. We have teachers who are working face-to-face. We have a combination of each. So getting all the students in the classes that they need always take a few days anyway, so I ask everybody to be extra patient. I will tell you, I spoke with all of the principals on Wednesday, and I asked them to give me a range of 0 to 100, where are we? And the average on Wednesday was about 87, 88. Today, I bet we're probably at about 95, 96. I think by Monday, we'll be just about there.
Do you think any of the principals are sort of just telling you what you want to hear almost because they don't want to say, yeah, we're not ready?
Well, I have access to the schedulers, and I can tell you how many complete schedules that we have in the district, and it looks good.
Do we have all the resources that we need to reopen schools on Monday as far as face masks, plexiglass, anything that you guys need health-wise?
Absolutely. We've been ordering and stockpiling all summer. Everything has been delivered out to the schools. Just about everything is already in the classrooms that need to be. And we already are starting to order now for weeks 3 through 6 to stockpile for that. It's going to be it's not like we just order once and it takes care of the whole year. So we'll be ordering in 3 to 4 week cycles, and we're already into the second cycle of ordering.
What about the virtual school? Are you ready to open those with the system? Is the system ready?
Yes, we have 2 different systems. We have 2 programs. One is called Seminole Connect. That is our program. And the other is Seminole County Virtual School, which is a franchise of Florida Virtual School. Our systems are up and running. Actually, the system is very similar for Seminole Connect, just much improved that we used the whole 4th quarter. So we've had a lot of practice with it. Our teachers have had a lot of practice. All that being said, there will be students who get frustrated the first day because everybody will try to log on at 9 o'clock. But just as we learned 4th quarter, after the first couple of hours, first couple of days, it works out.
Yeah, you've seen how Orange County, when their first day, how it went with everybody logging on. Are you anticipating some issues like they did?
Exactly. What was always interesting to me, like 4th quarter when we pivoted to the remote system, families got their kids up on time for school, and like at 8:30 when school would start, everybody logged on at the same time. Now I think with families having remote experience, they'll realize you can get on it 8:30, 8:45, you can stagger it a little bit, but I absolutely anticipate that there will be some hiccups the first couple of days. Just a lot of people logging on at the same time.
How will you know, in like what, I guess, threshold or criteria will you use to determine if the district needs to move to online-only classes again as it did this year?
Yeah, we will work very closely with the Seminole County Department of Health, the Florida Department of Health, and all of our local medical advisors. And if the numbers were to continue to increase to where they were more concerned, we would take the direction from all of our medical experts.
Are you guys prepared to convert to distance learning?
Yes, because realize we already have 56% of our students who are starting out with remote learning, so it would be a matter of pivoting that other 44%. Thousands of kids, but we did it 4th quarter. This is a fluid situation, so we can be prepared.
What is your opinion about the teachers' union? That some of them say that it's not safely to go to school at this moment.
Well, that's why we, first of all, our teachers had a lot of options, and I can tell you that 93% of our teachers who requested accommodations, and this is a number from on Monday, have been placed in a situation that they are comfortable. We have a good relationship with our union, and we have worked through each case individually. What else?
Any other school safety, security questions for anyone?
I have some
Sheriff?
safety security.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Sheriff Lena?
Hi, Sheriff.
Hey, Jeff.
Tell us about, this is different because there's only about half of the students that are going to be in the actual building itself. But there also is stuff going on for people that are at home too, where you're going to be watching to make sure that they are, not truant. Is that right? Like by not logging on and stuff. Explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, typically when there are cases of habitual truancy, it's just kids not going to school, that is then devoted to school social workers because really we want to address the underlying conditions that are present that lead people to either engage in a delinquent act or just not go to school. So it has always been our intent to look at those reasons why and get to the bottom of it. And the only way you can do that is by really taking a case-by-case scenario. So if there are people that we have on the rosters, we will collaborate with the superintendent's office. to make sure that our deputies, not only that are assigned to school safety, but are assigned to our neighborhoods, because this whole neighborhood policing concept is to make sure that they are intimately familiar with the needs and the demands that center around the whole family. So I suspect that at the very beginning of the year, there'll be a lot of effort in doing that. We also want to make sure that we continue to increase our education on ways that children can be victimized online. As people are turning more towards computers and all of that, it potentially leads to a greater level of victimization of bad guys. So we want to make sure that parents are aware with those basic safety tips of putting those computers in a common area of the house. Make sure that there's proper settings on the computer where they're minimizing the likelihood that children can be taken advantage of. But that's going to be something that we continue to ramp up as we look at and face this new norm.
When it comes to cybersecurity, you know, most companies have on some sort of, you know, malware protection. The whole system here is only going to be as strong as the weakest computer in somebody's house, right?
Dave, to be honest with you, I don't know the technical side of that, but I know that we have professionals both at the sheriff's office and on the school board side to make sure that those vulnerabilities are addressed. I feel like our systems are very, very secure, and these platforms have all of those built-in safety procedures in it. So again, I don't know, there's somebody here may be able to answer a more technical aspect of the cyber safety or security aspect of it.
Sheriff, at this time of COVID, what precautions are you taking in the interaction with students and the police?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that we're taking extreme precaution with every person that we interact with. The last thing we want is our public safety professionals to catch or transmit the disease. So we socially distance. As often as possible, we come in contact with people on the outside of buildings. We wear our face mask and protective gear and all of that. And I think we are good stewards of what the CDC recommendations are or county ordinances dictate. And I think that that's our part on making sure that everybody remains safe and secure. Everywhere I go, I've got a mask, sometimes multiple masks. And I think that right now, our society is making the shift where it's not that difficult to abide by these, when at the very beginning of this, you felt like you wanted to go up and shake everyone's hand and people wanted to get close to you. So I think it's getting a little bit easier to maintain those distances now. Even if you look around the room, you can see it's not uncommon to say, hey, you can't sit here, you can't go there. So it's becoming much, much easier. But we're going to continue to follow CDC guidelines, regardless if it's interacting with children or adults or each other. So I think that's the gold standard of what we need to do.
And Sheriff, real quick, a lot of times the teachers, the SROs, they are one of the first lines of discovering child abuse among students, and a lot of them are not going to be in the schools this year. So what do you, and even online, a lot of the kids, from what I understand, don't even have to be on camera. They just have to log in and hear and talk. So how do you spot the signs that a child is being abused under this kind of situation? I guess it's going to be harder, right?
So great question, Jeff. And actually, it's one that I'm probably most concerned about. Each summer, we see a significant reduction in reports of abuse, neglect, and abandonment of children. That reduction is largely because they are not coming in contact with those mandatory reporters that can see early signs of victimization. This pandemic, I think, has resulted in probably at the same level or greater level of victimization that we've ever had before, but the numbers are significantly down. To put it in perspective, Seminole County, one of the most affluent counties in the state with a great school system, we investigate nearly 4,000 child abuse cases per year. Those numbers are way down right now, and I think we will continue to see a challenge with that. I also think that we will continue to ramp up mental health services as people are coming out of this pandemic for all people, children and families. And It's just we are so blessed that have a school district that believes and supports those efforts, and we join with them in that regard. So as we come out of this thing or get back to school, I think that there's going to be increased number of demands placed upon, again, abuse, neglect, and abandonment, as well as mental health services, that we are ready and prepared to provide those services and connect the dots with service providers, both in a local area and regional area. So that's it is concerning. Many can look at the numbers and say, wow, child abuse seems like it's declining. It's only because all of those good law-abiding people that normally pick up on that abuse are not seeing the kids.